Myths related to second language acquisition. Now let us look at another myth related to the teaching and learning of second language. And what does it say? So a myth or a story that we come across that is often told is that the younger the child is, when he or she is exposed to the second language, the more second language will he learn or will she learn. That is, the skills of the child will develop faster and will be better than adult learners. So what does this mean? This means we are now talking about a major controversy regarding when to introduce the learning of the second language in school settings. We have been grappling with this problem in Pakistan also. So where we used to introduce the second language, that is English, in class 6, we came to introduce it in class 3, and now we introduce it in class 1. The research, however, does not support this conclusion, especially in school settings. So there are several studies, for instance, of British children learning French as a second language who have been found to be, and they found that the children who were younger in age performed less better than the children who were older in age when they started to learn the second language over an exposure of 5 years. And in European settings, there have been other studies that show that children who are older, when they are exposed to second language, they learn it faster than the younger children who are exposed to the second language over a similar period of time. There have been studies in Canada also, and they realized in French immersion programs that the children who were exposed to the immersion programs later in their age were better able to learn French language than children who were put in the immersion program earlier. Now, I am using over here this term immersion program. Immersion programs are programs in which the child is exposed to the target language only. So the child is being taught in the target language, that all the instructions are in the target language. There is absolutely no use of the first language, and there is very little emphasis on grammar. So the most emphasis comes on communication, on instructions, and all that. In any case, even with that kind of voluminous exposure to the second language, also they found that the older children were more at advantage than the younger children. Having said that, I will say again over here, as we mentioned in the last module also, that pronunciation, the sound system, the accent is one area in which the younger children are definitely more advantaged than the older children. And the younger children were able to pronounce or were able to use the accent of native speakers more accurately than the older children. So the point over here to discuss the myth is that the teachers should have a realistic expectation of their learners. They should know very clearly that my learners at the given age, what can they do, what can their abilities be, and to what extent can they get the gains of learning the second language. So it is again worthwhile to say that beginning language, second language instruction in early grades does give children more exposure So they have more years of being exposed to a language. However, it is important to remember that this exposure itself does not predict language acquisition. So the children who are exposed to the language earlier might not perform better than the children who are exposed to the second language acquisition later in their age.